out all the way through. What would surprise those of us who have never been that level of Stamos?
It was great. It doesn't happen as much anymore.
I thought you were just a fan, but you perform with them. How did they let you in the club?
I stalked them, and they haven't been able to get rid of me. Next to my family, it's the greatest thing of my life.
Are there other people like that who you kind of grew up idolizing?
Carlos Watson?
I knew you were going to say that.
Hey, have you tried this bread, by the way? I know I'm pivoting, but
I haven't seen anyone pivot that well off the basketball court.
it was pretty obvious.
Most beautiful place you've ever been to?
Kokomo, Aruba, Jamaica.
Hey family, it's Carlos Watson. Got a great episode for you. John Stamos is stopping by. That's right, that John Stamos. You remember him as Uncle Jesse on Full House. You remember back in the day, he was on General Hospital, he was on ER, he's been on Broadway, even played with the Beach Boys. Dude has seemed to do it all. Always a good-looking guy, always a fun guy. Who knew he was this funny?
The Carlos Watson Show is brought to you by American Family Insurance.
Hey John.
Carlos, can I say something? Everybody was I've done a lot of interviews in my time. Everybody was very excited. I was talking to Carlos Watson today. My makeup gal, Ann Masterson, is losing her mind over this interview.
Well, please tell Ann she's immediately my favorite person.
Well, you're going to see her right now. Come here, come here. She was, look, go say hi to Carlos.
Hey, Ann.
Big fan. Love your work.
Oh, you know what? Coming right back at you.
Why don't you guys get a room? So everybody's excited, and I'm excited too. How you doing up there?
I'm doing well. I'm healthy. Just got back from Miami, Florida.
It's fun down there. I'm gonna be there on the 4th of July too, in Fort Lauderdale actually, with the Beach Boys, a big concert on the beach.
All right, let's get right to the most important thing. What is your favorite Beach Boys song, said from one Beach Boy fan to another? I know you're more than a fan, but what's your favorite Beach Boy song?
God Only Knows my favorite.
God only knows what I'd be without you.
We were just playing in San Diego at the Padres stadium, and my son came, and we were playing God Only Knows Starts. I introduce it, but I don't play on it, and we have this big, beautiful video of Carl singing it behind us, and I looked down, my son's kind of looking, he's 3, and he's just now kind of getting concerts and things, and I said, come here, and he came up and he sat on my lap during God Only Knows, and I just was like, maybe the greatest moment so far in my life.
I thought you were just a fan, but you perform with them. And I'm hearing you say, like, this wasn't just like a one-off stunt. Like, you do this regularly. How did that happen? How did they let you in the club?
I stalked them, and I begged them. Well, no, I've been with them, I mean, off and on, as a guest since 1984 was one of the first times. My friend Jeffrey Foskett, he plays guitar with them, and I went to a show. I was on General Hospital at the time, and they played, and I went backstage after the show, but before the encore, and all these girls, cheerleaders, because we were on the baseball thing, they were chased me into the dressing room and screaming and yelling, and Mike Love looks over to my friend Jeff and said, who's that? And my friend said, that's John Stamos. He's a friend of mine. He's on General Hospital, soap opera. And Mike Love said, the girls always chase him and scream like that? And my friend said, yeah. I said, get him on stage. And that was it. I went on and played the encore, Barbara Ann. And they haven't been able to get rid of me. So next to my family, it's the greatest thing of my life. It's just, God, I love the band. And it's great to hear that you're a fan.
I don't know why. I always loved the Beach Boys. I think there was something kind of magical about their sound.
When I was young, I remember I heard them maybe when I was 15 in my dad's El Camino. I had an 8-track of it. But the music it's heart music. Like, you don't have to think about it. And I think that's the magic that you're talking about. It just bypasses the brain and goes straight to the heart. And, nowadays, we need that music pretty badly. And it's great to get out there and be with them. It's optimistic. Wouldn't it be nice?
Wouldn't it be nice if we were older, then we wouldn't have to wait so long?
It's happy, it's positive, it's healthy. I got the guys eating this bread now because they like to eat before going on stage to have energy.
Our home is the training ground for her dreams policy. Insure carefully. Dream fearlessly.
Hey, now, John, have you ever done stand-up?
I love stand-up comics. I study them. I worked with Saget and Coulier, who are great stand-ups. Gary Shanley, I did his show a bunch. I just love, it's just such an incredible complicated craft, isn't it? I love watching it. And Don Rickles was like my father, you know. I was really very, very close with him his last 15 years or so, and talk about a genius comic.
I actually saw you and Don on Howard Stern's show, and it looks like you did something very kind for him.
You know, Howard said that Don was his #1 influence, why he got into comedy, where his comedy came from, was the same place where Don's came from, which was, you know, they were not the most popular kids in school, and out of that came, you know, their sense of humor. That was a great thing because Don, you know, he didn't get up that early, and it was very difficult to get him on there. It took me years, and I begged him, and I said, you got to go on. He loves you, and we didn't tell them. I just kind of, you know, came in and I said, hey guys, I just real fast, I'm dating this new girl. I want you to meet her. It's very important that you like her. And then in comes Don Rickles, and they just died.
Here he is.
Oh my goodness!
Don Rickles. Ladies and gentlemen, Don Rickles.
And Howard stood up. He was so beautiful. He stood up, took his glasses off, and so he was so respectful. And they had this great conversation. I was very grateful that I got to be part of that, for sure.
Who else is on your hero list like that? Because it occurs to me you probably have gotten to do that a couple of times where you've met heroes of yours. Obviously the Beach Boys count in that. Are there other people like that who you kind of grew up idolizing, or at least you ended up admiring along the way, who you got a chance to spend real time with?
Carlos Watson?
I knew you were going to say that.
You know, my father, I mean, he died when I was in my 30s, but I always gravitated towards older gentlemen, you know. I just felt there was a lot to learn from them. And over the years, I had great mentors in that. Jack Klugman I worked with after General Hospital, and he became a mentor to me. And then Gary Marshall I was very close with. And now that I'm old, I feel that I have young kids doing that to me. It's like, oh, I better give back, because people were pretty generous with me over the years. Don was like still super funny and playing in Vegas, and we used to talk on the phone for hours with like two little schoolgirls. But he had a great resurgence, you know, and I was so happy to be part of it. We did this documentary on him, and people realized, oh my God, he's still around. He's still super funny. Every comic on the planet came around, you know, from Robin Williams to Chris Rock. Everybody just loved him. It was nice.
How did you first connect with Don?
I was sitting next to him in a restaurant. We were bored with the people we were with, and we turned to each other. We just started joking, and that was it. I just love it, all that. And that's, you know, the Beach Boys were part of that too. I've had a really blessed, beautiful, beautiful life and career, and being able to be here and talk to you today is really special for me.
I heard your parents were okay with you dropping out of college to pursue acting, and I've heard so much of the opposite in this life, where people have these dreams. They want to kind of dream fearlessly, as I like to call it, and it's hard for the people in their lives, especially the people who often gave birth to them, to be okay with them doing that.
My parents they just didn't put up any you know, they never said you couldn't do that. My dad owned fast food restaurants, and not only did I, you know, was he encouraging to whatever I did, but I also watched the way he treated people. And I think I really attribute maybe some of my longevity to that. My dad would treat the busboy the same way he would treat his most important customer. And I would just see that and go, oh, wow, look at that. And that, you know, was with me. But he wanted me to go to college, but I was never good at school. I was a band geek, and I wanted to be an actor. But it was important to him. So I went to register at the local college. I was working at his restaurant. He said, you have to go to the next semester, and that's that. And I went home and I said, please, I need to get on TV, God, please, God, please. And luckily I did. I got General Hospital. But you said fearless earlier, and that was something I think I just had because they let it happen. And over the years, maybe you felt this, that you start to lose that because you start overthinking stuff, or you're reading about yourself, or now social media. Get back to that fearlessness and focus on the moment that you're in at that moment and give it your all. Don't hold anything back. That's what I've been learning.
Well, I know where she's coming from. She's coming from Wackosville. That's where she's from.
Nobody's perfect. No one is perfect.
I told you I wasn't going to fit in.
Blackie, that's because you're not really trying.
Well, just because I told Amy to shut up, I'm not trying?
Tell me about getting Blackie. Like, how did that happen?
You know, all the stars lined up and everything. I auditioned, and my character was supposed to be knocked off. Like I was a street, kid. I was from Orange County, which is like my Disneyland. Like, what did I know about it? It was in New York. I'd never been to New York. Before the audition, I remember I went to I walked down Santa Monica Boulevard. I was driving. I said, this looks kind of like New York. Santa Monica Boulevard, beautiful area, sort of a boys' town type of place in West LA. And I was like working on my walk, and you know, these guys are whistling at me, to the bars and stuff. It was great. And I walked in, and I got it. And my mother wrote letters, and I just ate it up. I just loved every minute of it. And
wait, your mom wrote letters to who?
To the show, ABC, saying how great the character was.
That is the home team for sure. I love Mom.
Right.
All right, take me into the girls chasing you, because that is something that very few people have happen in life. True heartthrob all the way through. What would surprise those of us who have never been that level of Stamos? What would surprise us the most about that kind of experience?
Well, look, I don't know, but it surprised me because I was, like I said, I was a sort of a dorky kid in school. I wasn't super popular. When I got that, I was coming out of the caterpillar into the butterfly thing. And so when it was, girls screaming, I was like, who are they screaming? And then, but it was, it was great. It doesn't happen as much anymore, but, and I pay Ann a couple bucks and she, when I walk into a room. Hey, have you tried this bread, by the way? I know I'm pivoting, but.
That was a beautiful pivot. I haven't seen anyone pivot that well off the basketball court.
It wasn't that good. It was pretty obvious. If I was a little more subtle, I'd say, you look good. What do you eat? What do you eat, Carlos? What do you have? What kind of bread do you eat there?
All right, tell me about the bread. And how did you get in the bread? Who pulled you into Ora wheat bread? How'd this happen?
Or we did. They came to me about 6 or 8 months ago. I think it was in the middle of this pandemic. It was. I had just gone back to work on Big Shot, and I was grateful to Disney. It was a privilege to be able to go back to work. So I said, look, I might do some commercials for this bread company to the craft service person, because I eat a turkey sandwich every day. So I said, let's have this down. They said, John, you've been eating it for like the whole time since we started. I said, oh, really? That's kismet. I'm gonna, I mean, look, I'm gonna be 72 in August, and I have to think about my, being healthy and eating nutritiously. So it all made, look, I get offered a lot of, stuff to promote, but this one seemed right to me and my family, and I have a 3-year-old son now. Do you have kids?
Not yet, but you were giving me inspiration that I can get into the game at halftime.
Getting into it at halftime was the best thing for me, or I don't know if I'm at halftime, maybe the fourth quarter, because I've lived a lot. I've had some success. I don't have to worry about my career, or I do, but I'm more settled, and I can certainly be present. I can put stuff away and go, what do you need, son? No, but it's good. I just FaceTimed him, and I'm not kidding. They'll tell you, he was eating small slice French toasts. And I said, that's good.
Hey, John, you realize what's going to happen because there is karma in the world. You realize the little fella, his name is Billy, is that right?
Yes.
All right, you realize Billy is going to be all kinds of funny, and he is just going to give you the blues. You realize that's what's going to happen.
He's gonna give me the blues?
He is. He's gonna make fun of you. He's gonna tease you. He's gonna keep you on your toes.
He goofs on me already at 3 years old.
Before you go, I'm gonna do a little rapid fire with you. Most interesting thing you've learned about love?
Forgiveness.
If you could have dinner with anyone, dead or alive, who would you love to have dinner with?
Walt Disney. Then you, but Walt first.
Your favorite movie of all time?
Wizard of Oz.
Wizard of Oz. And favorite character on Wizard of Oz?
Scarecrow.
How can you talk if you haven't got a brain?
Some people without brains do an awful lot of talking, don't they?
Your karaoke song?
I don't sing karaoke. I sing with the Beach Boys.
Oh, true.
Do you sing karaoke?
I do.
What's your go-to?
Devil Went Down to Georgia.
The devil went down to Georgia. He was looking for a soul to steal.
Really?
You didn't expect that, did you?
I would have never guessed that.
Most beautiful place you've ever been to?
Oh. Kokomo. Aruba, Jamaica.
Ooh, I wanna take you to Bermuda, Bahama. Come on, pretty mama.
What will surprise people, even those who think they know about you? What will surprise them about you?
I hope they think I'm funny. I like to be funny.
And if you had not made it onto General Hospital, if you had not become the actor that we all love, play a little bit of sliding doors, what would you have done, do you think?
I would be Carlos Watson's makeup man.
I love it. I was counting on that. Hey, nice talking to you. Be well.
Thanks, buddy. Nice talking to you.
John Stamos Crew Talk, pick one, marker.
What did you think of our man John Stamos?
What's not cool about John Stamos? And he's just so funny. Like, I didn't expect any of the things that came out of his mouth that had come out of his mouth today. And it was so surprising, and he kept me laughing the entire time. And then I'm like that he waited later in life to have a child.
Yeah.
You know, and that he's so, you know, I think that the older you get, the more hands-on and the more attention you can give the child. So I thought that was special the way he decided to, you know, wait until later in life to do that.
He looks great for being in his late 70s. Right. I have a friend who works for him and says only good things about him, and you could see the way he spoke about his makeup artist, which of course that warms my heart. That he is somebody who cares about the people around him. As cheesy as he can be, I think he actually has transcended from like the heartthrob to, you know, a really interesting, enjoyable actor and man. Like, I really enjoy him.
That was so much fun. Yeah. I thought he was great and probably really fun to work with. I think what's even more interesting was when you got into talking about Dreaming Fearlessly and the range of experiences that he's had in his life. And for me, it feels like it's just a lesson in living a life of gratitude.
Full House was it was a little bit of my babysitter, so I used to watch it every day after school, and it's so fun. I never really thought of him as funny. I've never thought of him as a comedian. To see the real kind of John Stamos, not Full House, not selling yogurt, not selling bread, you know, like him just being himself, I loved it so much. That was really, yeah, just like Margot said, that was a treat for sure.
Hey, hope you enjoyed John Stamos as much as I did. And I knew he was talented, but who knew he was that funny? Really appreciate him. Appreciate his come-up story. Love his love of the Beach Boys. And of course, really love his makeup artist, Ann. Ann, here's one to you. Thank you for being you. All right, listen, that's going to do it for us today. As you go, please be sure to like, subscribe, comment, and listen to the podcast. Be safe, be well. We'll see you on the other side.